Good evening. Welcome to the Monday, March 23rd FinCom meeting. I'll do a roll call. Gavin? Tracy? Sandy? Bonnie? Paula?
Here.
Paul?
Yes.
And myself. Kevin will not make it tonight. Zach may and Steve
Right there.
may.
Zach's there.
Zach's on.
This has entered the chat.
All right. Good evening, Zach. All right, if we could stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Zach?
just got a text from Brandon. He just had some kind of family emergency. He's not going to make it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay? Yeah.
I guess we will just jump into new business. Mark?
Thank you, Chair Rotundi. With us today, we have the privilege of some of the best town departments here, and I will briefly introduce them, and if you'd like to hear from the department head or have any questions, feel free. First up, we have the assessors. So their budget consists of 3 full-time employees, and we are, just to clarify, it's level service as far as personnel are concerned and contractual obligations. So here are step raises and stipends. The line items went up a little bit, from 154,000 with the operating expenses to 159,000. That's in contracted services, seminars and conferences, dues and memberships. Pretty straightforward. One thing that is of note with the assessors moving into next year, you'll remember that we approved the veteran and senior additional abatement. So that's going to increase the overlay account this year. We're getting exact numbers on that, or as best as we can approximate. Might be around $100,000. Anyone like to hear from our chief assessor, Miss Denise Ellis? She's been doing a lot of work, a lot of late nights doing all the abatements.
Any questions?
Mr. Chair,
Yes?
just a small question. The $2,000 for telephone communications that we haven't appropriated the last couple of years, is there something new that came up with that?
Hello. So I did have a phone a few years ago, and I wasn't using it that often, and we had to do some cuts in my budget, so I thought that would be a good thing to cut. But now that we're doing, with the new town manager, now we're doing everything through cell phone, and I don't want my personal phone being used. I'd rather have one for the public.
Perfect, thank you.
That's why.
$2,000 for?
Well, because I'll need a phone, and then that's an estimate. I have to buy a phone, and then whatever the monthly
Okay.
bill's going to be. I mean, that might be short. I don't really know. I have no idea. That's my husband's job. He always buys the phones.
Is there a typo, or am I not reading it right? The supporting page, summation of salaries versus the front page summation of salaries for personnel services?
There is a $1,000 clothing stipend that's listed under operating costs. Does that
Yep, okay,
match? So 244 to 243.
yep, okay. Thank you.
One more question, Mr. Chair. The contracted services, I thought we added that last year, took it out of an article and put it into your budget. But I noticed that you've only spent 3,000 of that. Is that something that's coming due soon?
Yeah, so this is something that usually happens in the spring. They're working on the system, but now we'll start doing all of our inspections, our cyclical inspections, personal property and commercial. So those bills will start coming in now, and once they start doing the inspections, they'll send the bill in. They don't
you.
bill us ahead of time.
Anyone else?
Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Denise. Moving right on to our finance department, the town accountant. Here we have 2.5 employees, and you'll notice there are stipends, step raises, and pretty much consistent with previous years. Actually, the annual audit is increasing. We've been getting a really good deal in the past, but it's time to pay the piper, and our contract expired, so we're up to market rate for annual audit services. Other costs have increased nominally. No, they haven't. They've stayed the same. 3,170 for a total of $318,944.
So the annual audit, we were getting a deal, or should we go out and bid?
So the auditor has been here for, as I understand, at least a decade, maybe 15 or more years, and they've been performing well and given us good reviews. I mean, it's always good to shop around. I think best practice would be to issue an RFP, and I think that's what the select board intends on doing. In the private industry, it's required for publicly traded companies to switch auditors every 5 years. In the public sector, there's no such requirement, but it is best practice.
Kind of only ask because $15,000 bump in 1 year is tad high. Anybody else? I'm going to take that as a no.
Moving right along. Board of Health has 2 full-time employees and is also responsible for the landfill item. Again, just contractual and step raises. The sanitary landfill actually is estimated to go up a little this year from 8,000 to 8,400. That's according to an estimate from the company that services the landfill, and that's a DEP, a company that works well with DEP, as I understand it. The operating lines are pretty much in line, just a couple increases, very nominal. And also the public health nurse has stayed consistent with $4,000 appropriation, even though we haven't had a public health nurse since 2024. The operating expenses are the same. Never know when we'll need medical help.
Mr. Chair?
Sandy?
Can I ask, Chris Sonner, I know last year you lost a part-time position. Just wonder if there's any impact from that you felt?
Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, good. Essentially, it kind of worked out in our favor a little bit that we joined a regional group with 5 other towns where we're sharing a food inspector and a public health nurse. So between those 2 positions with my office, they've given me the help I've been looking for, and we're able to keep chugging along here. But the issue we have with that is going to be next year. The funding for the grant funding for that group is going to end on FY27.
So it's currently funded via a grant?
Yeah, so currently there's a public health excellence grant that's paying for the Bristol Norfolk Public Health Partners Group, which is Easton, Mansfield, Foxborough, Sharon, Plainville, and Norton. We all share those 2 inspectors. We also have an epidemiologist on our staff as well. And so, like I said, it's to help they're doing this to help the towns share as much resources as we can, and to help put the manpower in place that we need to get the job done. Because all the health departments are struggling with lack of help. So that's essentially what the program is set up for, and it's the grant funding, like I said, is only good until FY27. Then they're proposing that maybe the towns will help pay and keep it going at that point, but we'll have to see how that goes.
And is there a guesstimate, not holding you to it, to what that cost will be next year?
I'm saying it's probably, yeah, I would say you're probably looking at 50,000 a town,
Okay.
per town, which isn't awful to have those 3 positions,
But next year.
but they're part-time, and that would be next year. That's not this year.
Right. Thank you. Anybody else? I'll take that as a no.
If I may, Mr. Chair.
Yep.
So normally we would have submitted an article for the hazardous household waste day. However, we intend to roll that into this department. We're just updating the quote, and will in the final budget include that line item for whatever we're being charged for that.
Historically, that's been what, 10? 20? 10?
In the past, it was 10. In the past, it was 10,000. We have a little bit left in the account, so the request right now is right around 7. But we're trying to get them to sharpen their pencils, I guess, with the estimate. So at this time, we were just asking for the 7 to cover the difference. But in the past, it was always a separate article in the town meeting, and
Right.
we're trying to put it into our operating budget.
Okay.
Thank you, Chris.
No problem.
Next up, conservation. 2 full-time employees. Same contractual step adjustments, and we have a few new items here. We have some inflation for maintenance of conservation areas, and looks like there's a couple of projects, mandated dam inspections, and a survey for Shore Way for the inspection and $7,800 for the survey, which as of now looks like it includes staking. And if you want to know more about those projects, you'd have to ask John.
So what's involved in that project?
Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing? First, I got to ask is how many of you guys are boaters?
Boat?
Yeah. How many of you guys like to go boating on the reservoir? You guys have motorboats?
No.
No? Okay. Well, a lot of people do. And one of the things that I've been looking at is areas around town that the town currently owns, that are whether they're in conservation ownership or whether they're in town ownership, to see if we can actually facilitate a physical boat launch for this town. Juniper Beach has been used for eons. I think it's about time that this town actually has a serviceable boat launch like Taunton and other communities. So part of this initiative is do a survey of the full entire property to get a sense as to whether, because of wetland limitations and setbacks and things of that nature, we have to potentially get permits and things, but that's for us to figure out later. More of it's just I got to get a feasibility study to see if we can physically get a parking lot and physical boat launch at Shoreway property, which is actually across from TPC behind those apartments. That property was, as part of the project, was when they put in the apartments, was gifted to the Conservation Commission at the time. One of the acceptable uses for that property is we can actually facilitate a boat launch at that location. So me trying to think of potential locations for this is, another kind of avenue that I've been kind of seeing as what can we get use out of a lot of the properties that we have in conservation. I think it's easy access from Mansfield Ave, and we're just hoping that the survey can provide us enough information so that we can kind of move to the next phase, which is looking at grants and other avenues, whether we go with Division of Fish and Wildlife again, like we did at 237 Mansfield Ave to help them assist us with the project, or if we get other kind of grants for facilitating the boat launch. So.
John, 237 Mansfield Avenue is not able to be upgraded to do that or anything?
No, part of the discussion was that 237 Mansfield Ave is limited to kayak and canoe boating only, and that's because of the inabilities for us to get a trawling motor through there. I guess it's very, very shallow, so that was one of the decisions that was made. That's why it had limited access. But this location that we're going to be looking at, hopefully further south, which is kind of near the Norton Links, that hopefully will be deep enough for us to, at least that's what the bathymetric survey shows that we have. It's deep enough to facilitate motorboats. So.
Mr. Chair?
Oh,
You want to go ahead? No, go ahead.
I think we want to say the same thing. Mr. Chair, through you. We received a report from James last fall regarding some monies that were allocated through town meeting articles over the years, that there's money still sitting in accounts, and you actually have quite a bit. So I didn't know if you were aware of it, and if you're not, I can go through them, and if you are, if you want to just speak to
Sure, go ahead.
what the plan is for some of these accounts.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so the first one I see here was monies allocated in the town meeting in 2017 for Chartley Dam repairs, $44,649.92. Is that just still ongoing? And
Well, I guess the question is, it's kind of a reserve nest egg for us, because if we don't have money to facilitate any immediate repairs to the dams, we're basically up the creek without a paddle. So I think it's best for us to have that surety on hand as a town. Because to my knowledge, I don't know if we have any $50,000 lying around for either dam in our bank accounts to just basically go to those kind of emergency repairs if they're required.
right. Have you used it since 2017? Have you dipped into that?
So
account?
we have not, but I actually have PAR engineers are looking at obtaining grant money that we're going to actually have to do repairs to the dam soon. So in addition to that money, I'm hoping to get more money. So that way we can actually do more repairs to the dams. This money that's here is, I would say it's best to, I don't want to call it a rainy day fund, but what I want to call it is more so a fund where if we have to use it, we have it. It's stored away and it's for emergency purposes. That's how I'm looking at it.
Okay.
If we don't have it, then I don't know what sort of funds we can dip into to do the repairs.
You'd have to
If
come back
we have
into
a
the
breach or
town,
if we
yeah.
have any sort of issues, I have to go back in front of town meeting, but that's not going to happen because by then all the residents would be washed out and we'd be dealing with lawsuits and all that other stuff when we have that money on hand. So I think it's best to kind of have that money stored away.
Okay. Fair. And then there's several accounts for the Camp Edith Reed.
Correct. Actually, I have some information if you
Ooh,
want to
good.
hear about that.
Yes.
So, with all the I guess discussions with Edith Reed, obviously, it was the Girl Scouts campground. We actually have a property profile on our website. If anybody wants to click on it, they can go to the Conservation Commission. But there's also a survey there, and it asks at the end, and it asks what we want to see done with the property. We've had one person give a response so far. So I would ask the public who are listening to this tonight to provide us some information, if you can, whether they're on the Finance Committee or in the audience or at home watching this. Please let us know what you would like with that property. As far as I'm looking at it from my own perspective, I'm looking at things that could be low cost, low maintenance, have community involvement, things that could potentially help the community grow as a whole. One of the things that I was thinking about was trying to facilitate a community garden at the location. It's one of the things that we're allowed to do at the Edith Reed because it is under a self-help grant. So there are limitations where we can only use it for passive recreation. And it's an open field. And part of that is if it's an open field, we can actually use it and convert it to a community garden. So I've looked at that. We could potentially get 15 to 20 plots of community garden space there. It's just, if we're going to do this, I need a community and backing. So if there's anybody out there that wants to help and move forward with the community garden potential aspect of it, it would be near the parking lot, near the front, where the old pool used to be. That would be another endeavor that I would look at if I ever wanted to expand the facility, which is this money that potentially is sitting there.
Yeah, it's almost $55,000.
Right.
I just added them real quick.
So the thing is, since the pool was demoed basically and punched a hole into by my predecessor, and the pool is no longer in service, I can't build a new pool there. So I'd have to remove the pool, potentially remove the I guess it's the toilets and the facilities that are there currently that were servicing the pool. And I have to have somebody come in and remove all that. I don't know how much that would cost, but I know it wouldn't be cheap. But it would be able to, I potentially could facilitate the extension of this community garden at the location.
Are those bathrooms on a septic, and why would you want to keep bathrooms for your facilities?
I mean, there is the possibility of opening the bathrooms. That's true. There is that. There's also the current situation where I've turned off the water there, so I'd have to resurface it and everything like that. So, and I probably have to redo those bathrooms. They've been left dormant for a while, or out of service. I have to take a look at them and see what the condition is. A lot of the facilities there are in kind of poor condition. I haven't been really up to date and maintaining them like our other properties here in town, like Everett Leonard, which has gone through a couple renditions. That's in probably the better shape of all our facilities. But there are other opportunities. And like I say to everybody is that if somebody wants to, think of ideas, or if somebody has ideas that they want to, I guess, formulate or provide us, I'm here to listen. So if you have any ideas, I'm here to listen. But I think the community garden idea is something that's low maintenance, low cost, something that we can get off the ground running. One of our other properties that are adjacent to this is Rose Farm, and we actually are renting that property to a local farmer who is paying the town to use the land, but he's growing produce for the local community. So Rose Farm was dormant, like Edith Reed was. There wasn't really a use, but we've found a way to make it a use for not just the town, but for this local farmer. So we're trying here. You know, I'm just saying we're trying.
Sorry, you said you're renting out that space?
Yes.
What is that money being used for when it comes in?
It's a good question. It's going to the general fund. So it's $1,000 a year, and that money is going to the general fund.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Any other questions?
Mr. Chair?
Zach?
So we bought this property years ago, and then we had heard that we were going to convert it into a campground. And then we allocated money to fix the building, and then we were going to use it as rentals. And nothing's happened with it. It's been, as far as I'm concerned, pretty much abandoned over the years. What was originally, why did we originally buy it, and what was the original intention? I mean, we've done nothing with it since we bought it.
I would ask anyone on the board that was there at the time.
I think you summed it up, Zach. We were told it was going to be cheap money to take it, and then we were going to use it to rent it out. And that, I don't think we did any, there was no real thought to the cost of it or the annual maintenance of it. So anybody who was sitting on this board, I don't think it was a unanimous vote to say, yeah, this is a good idea. But that's my recollection of what happened.
Mr. Chair, I vaguely remember the conversation. I think it was Jen who was director at the time. And I think that we were supposed to be repairing it and then potentially renting it out for like even business retreats. I remember that being mentioned, and
Yep.
maybe scout troops and different activities and clubs and things that would potentially be bringing in revenue.
And so far, nothing.
So, Mr. Chairman, let me ask, what are the options if the town doesn't have the money or doesn't want to invest in this or put the time and effort into it? What are the options to do with that land? Can it be sold? Can it
No, it can't be sold.
What are the options? Turned over to the state, something?
You can turn it over to the state, but you basically spent money already for the property. So, I mean, if you give it back to the state, they don't have to pay you.
Abandoned property at this point.
Mr. Chair,
It's a disgrace, to be honest with you.
Yep.
I will say in John's defense that he's done a really great job making it into trails that are walkable now, a lot of them. Some of that got short circuited by a neighbor, but other than that, it's a beautiful place. You can actually walk from there right out to, I believe, the Y Camp still, if it's not too wet and stuff.
I mean,
And put bridge projects we had.
we've
for
enhanced
schools.
our abilities with having a partnership with the YMCA. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't here. I apologize. I wasn't here, so I don't know what the conversations that you may have had with Jennifer Carlino about the property. Nothing against her or anything, but I'm not a park manager. That's not as my job. I apologize for that, but it's not what I took this job for. My job is to be the conservation director, and my job is to provide amenities for the public as part of the open space director. That's what I'm doing. For me to have a full-time management of Edith Reed as a function hall or whatever sort of kind of facility manager, that's not my role and responsibilities. There are other towns that have similar avenues of this that actually have dedicated land use managers that their job and responsibility is to actually do these sort of things. If that's
So why
something,
can't we turn it over to Parks and Rec?
sorry, Zach.
So why can't we turn it over to Parks and Rec?
Well, the property's in the Conservation Commission's ownership rights.
Okay, so how do we get it transferred?
You can't. It's for passive recreation only. Parks and Rec is for active recreation.
But I will say,
So
on
that-
any given day, John, on any given day, there's a ton of cars parked there for people that are passively walking around on a property and enjoying it. So I don't think it's a valid statement to say nothing's going on there, because it has. And you've done a nice job,
So-
partnership with the schools, making the bridges and stuff. And
We also have an American chestnut restoration initiative happening over at Edith Reed too, where This individual from Attleboro is trying to plant American chestnuts there, and you might see the cages over there if you go walk through there. That is the passive recreation use. We're trying to basically hit on every passive recreational use that we can. Part of the challenges are that I did the numbers. I looked at things. I said, if we had one rental a week, every week for $100, the amount of revenue that is generated from that facility is not going to outweigh, or you're basically going to break even on the cost to operate and maintain that property moving forward. So what I did was I just canceled everything. I cut off all the services that were going to Edith Reed because, it was costing me about, I don't know how much it was costing. I have the numbers, but I can't look at them right now. But for me to facilitate operating costs for that whole entire property didn't outweigh the benefit. There was no cost, initiative that would have brought money back to the town as part of this. Typically, when I look at things, I say, okay, is this going to make the town money? Is this worth the time and investment to do that? This was not one of them to operate and open the lodge. I know that some people are not going to like to hear that, but for instance, for me to maintain it and operate it for having it functions and things of that nature, that's what it would be. And I did a very conservative approach where I had one rental every week. And that's being generous, because I don't know if we would get one rental a week.
And having been in the building when we took it over, it was in dire need of work when we took
It
over.
was, and she did a great job in improving that facility. I will say that. It's in definitely a lot better shape now than it ever was. So,
Mr. Chair,
Zach?
I don't expect, John, you to run that as a business. The town took it over. If the town took it over, they should invest some money. It should not be a business where you're looking to generate revenue out of it. I mean, that's not, I don't believe that was the intention of picking it up. If the town can't afford to do something with it and to invest some money into it and to make it a passive recreational facility, then the town should find ways to exit it completely. I mean, it should not be, everything is not a business. Parks and Rec shouldn't be a business. These should be investments in the community that, that the taxpayers make to improve their quality of life. So, I don't live by that premise that, well, it wasn't generating any money, so it's not supposed to generate any money.
Mr. Chair.
Gavin?
Zach, I wasn't here for any of this, so I don't know any of this history, but earlier you were saying that the whole story was that it was going to be a profit-driving campground or something.
That was what they put in front of us way back in the day, Gavin. That wasn't me saying that. That's what we were told.
No, I know, but turns out that's not true. We're more restricted than we expected, it sounds like. I mean, I hear you on maybe exiting. We obviously don't have money to subsidize something there. So, I guess, maybe you're right. The exiting is the only option. I just kind of don't. I don't know if it's worth driving this point home every year about this property that we have. John has no money to do anything with. I don't know. Maybe it's something to bring in front of the select board, because I hear you if you want something done with the land, but also if it's, it sounds like passive recreation is not sexy, but trees are because of climate change. So some sort of chestnut project sounds great. Community garden could be great for people who don't. I got an acre of land and I could barely grow on it with the amount of trees I have. So, I might take that offer. So I don't know. I just think that these things are worthwhile. Yeah, I think he's doing what he can. I don't know what we expect here, unless you want to give the land away, and then what happens? The state. Is the state going to do something with it? Paul, no.
So,
I'm ranting here, so I'll shush.
Mr. Chair, John.
Yeah, it's not. This is not directed to John
Totally.
by any stretch of the imagination. It's been going on forever since we got it. We took the land without a plan, in my view, to do something with it. But I think it is a select board issue, and they should decide what they're going to do with it.
John, this is no different than all the other conservation properties around town that you're hiking on. And
that's
doing passive
correct.
stuff
It's
with.
one of our
Just had a building on it. That was the only
it's
real
one of our
difference.
231 properties that we currently own here in town.
And that's the only difference, is it has a building, so people
Yes,
were.
it is Article 97 land, just so we're clear.
Yeah. I don't think you have a choice of doing much with it.
I don't have much options, but I'm doing with what I can. So
So what would the annual maintenance be just on that property? And is it more because it has a building?
so you're talking with having it open and functioning with electricity?
No, just as it is now.
As it currently is. The only thing that I worry about is cutting the grounds and maintaining it so that way the dog walkers and everybody that's using that facility can enjoy it as basically a place of zen, a place where they can go and take their dogs. They can go and use the trails that are out back, the ones that we reconfigured. Yes, the lodge is there, but it's not open to the public as of right now.
Is this the one you said the boiler, the water heater wasn't functioning?
Yeah, I have to replace the water heater, but the accounts that I currently have could facilitate replacing that, so I'm not worried about that.
Mr. Chair, I just want to understand where the money is coming from for the maintenance of the trails and things. Are you spending out of these Camp Edith repairs accounts for the annual maintenance of it? Or is it part of your operating budget?
So I currently have a maintenance of conservation areas account, and I also have a Camp Edith Reed maintenance conservation areas account. One of them is currently I haven't touched yet because I wasn't entirely sure what we were going to do with it. That might actually go to the community gardens if I can use it. I just have to talk to the town manager about that because the numbers do jive with what we're looking for an estimate for putting in the community gardens. That's about $11,000. And then the other account that I have is for the maintenance of all 231 properties that we currently own, but some of them are not accessible, and I haven't been to them because they're in the middle of the swamp. So,
But you have been spending down these Camp Edith repairs accounts, that the monies that were allocated through town meeting articles?
some of them have been drawn down, not all of them, because I think some of them were supposed to deal with the lodge per se.
Okay.
It's also contingent upon what the public are looking for. Like I said, I mean, I'm only here because I can think of low cost initiatives that aren't going to cost the town money. One of them is the community gardens. I think if we get a big showing of people that are interested, that are going to contribute and want to contribute to building these for the community, for them to use, but also for the community to use, I think that's a good initiative, a good camaraderie kind of opportunity that will provide the community that kind of, joint partnership. But it's also them being committed to it, because once you sign up for it, you basically you're in it for the long haul, I want to say. So anyone that's interested, be ready, because we're going to put you to work. But then secondly is that if there are some people that are still interested in using the lodge, that is an opportunity still. It's just, I need to have a plan laid out.
So people need to fill out the survey
Well, I'm saying
online.
it'd be great if you could fill out the survey, because then, for instance, I could get two groups, one for the community garden and then one for the lodge. And I just need community help.
Volunteers to run it.
Well, not no. What? Hey, do you want to plan? Yeah. Okay.
Sounds like you volunteered.
Oh, no.
Yeah, my concern really is just making sure that, these funds that were allocated, some of them, 9 years ago, that they're just getting used and they're going to be used. And
I think I'm going to give the opportunity to the public to let me know what they want, and then next year when we circumvent the wheel on this, we'll have a better idea as to whether we can give those back to the town.
Okay.
So I'm going to let everybody that's out here put the word out. If you want those funds to go to good use, then
John, one final comment. Are you going to let the community gardens people pump from the river?
what?
You going to let
No,
them pump from the river?
I'm gonna have water. Hopefully, the new DPW director lets me tap in for free. That's the plan. Okay?
Anybody else? Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Next up, planning board. So there's 2 full-time employees in the planning board. They support the work of the Planning Board, the Zoning Board of Appeals, which has the annual assessment for Southeast Regional Planning. That's up a little bit, $4,277, an estimated 2.5 increase, as that has been the pattern over the past few years. And there's a new Taco Bell coming to town. Any questions of our town planner?
I'm not seeing any, I'm not hearing any. It's an easy night, Paul.
Not trying to amend any bylaws, so
Full house.
You didn't get a no vote at least, right?
Ouch. Ouch. Man.
Thank you, Paul. Moving on to our library department. So we're very excited that our library recently became accredited for the first time in quite some time. You'll find a bunch of handouts here in your packet. And I know Amanda's excited, and I'm excited for her at all the great things happening with collaboration with the senior center, with Park and Rec, with all the other departments. I see Amanda everywhere around town and couldn't be more happy to support the awesome work she's doing at the library.
I'm anticipating some questions because our budget's a little weird. It's a little different than the other departments.
Right. So the school department and the library department are the two departments that we don't give them line items. We give them a flat appropriation, and their board of trustees and the school committee allocates that. So we've kept it at a sufficient level, at the same level it was last year, to retain accreditation and keep the library level service.
At how many hours is accreditation?
50 hours.
50 hours. And I know it's a split budget. Are there ongoing building issues?
Oh, yes. So just to back up a little bit, our budget is roughly 80% municipal. And what we've done is allocate our most fixed costs to that side of the budget. So salaries, our sales network membership, and the materials expenditure that's needed as part of the state requirements. The other costs, while only 20% of the budget, are often variable. Utilities, building repair and maintenance, landscaping, all that kind of stuff. So what we try to do is spend every bit of that money as carefully as possible, whether the money comes from the trust or the Friends or the public or municipal funding. It all has to be spent wisely. So I have to say, in the past couple of months, I've been able to meet with the DPW director. We've talked about ways to save money on building repairs and maintenance. We've been able to prepare a 10-year capital improvement plan that'll help us get ahead of some of these issues before they become emergencies. And we're really looking at how much are we spending on maintenance of certain things like the HVAC, and how can we get ahead of that so that we're not just pouring money out on those kinds of things.
Mr. Chair? I mean, I just echo what the town manager said. Congratulations on finally reaching certification, and God willing, we'll be able to keep you there for years to come.
Thank you. Yes, I have to say it's a team effort, and I just carried the baton over the finish line. But it's a really big accomplishment for the town to finally have all the state requirements being met. We're getting a little more in state aid this year and next. Because of that certification, and that helps keep up with the cost of utilities, the cost of building repair. We are so grateful to the town, to the finance committee for giving us the budget that we needed to do that. It was a long time coming. We kind of incrementally moved our way back up, but being there now, we have so much momentum. Morale is so high, and we're just excited to be able to continue to offer these core services to everybody.
Do you have you don't have a turnstile that actually checks people in and out. Do you have a rough idea how many card holding members you have and how many people daily visit?
Yes. So we have roughly, I think, 8 to 10,000 card holders. You have to be at least 5 years old. So we have 0 to 5 age patrons that come to our baby time. So they don't count in that number. But we actually do have a people counter, a little, at the front door. And last year we had over 66,000 visitors. 10,000 people attended programs. All ages. Our babies we call them pre-walkers or lap sitters, all the way up to our seniors. We have programs for everyone. We have materials for everyone. Anyone can come and get help with a resume, filling out a form on a government website, anything that people need. I feel that the purpose of the library is to affirm and uplift everyone that walks through the door. So when people walk through the door, they're treated with dignity and respect, and whatever question or concern or thing that they're trying to do, we're here to help them and to support them doing that.
Well said.
Thank you.
Margaret walked, checked a lot of books and used computers, and the staff is very nice.
This is going to be a tough budget year, and we want to acknowledge that. We know that, but we do know that when times are tough, libraries use increases. People need it more. People need more free programming, safe places to go, places to get help with resumes and job applications, and we're prepared for that. If we can have the budget that we need to keep open the 50 hours, my staff is prepared to deal with an increase in demand for services.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amanda. So that's it. A lot of literature in the library, pun intended.
Tree warden.
Next up
Tree warden.
is the tree warden. So that's budgeted for the same as it was this year. In fact, everything on this page, there's actually a slight increase to unemployment. So the tree warden is a stipend. I believe we're currently working, the DPW is, on getting someone a certified arborist. It's actually a course you take that's $5,000. So if we can find $5,000, we'll certify someone as an arborist. The reserve fund, we have not yet dipped into it this year. I expect to bring a request to the committee in the next few weeks. There are a couple counts that are running low. One of them actually is unemployment, and the other one I believe is either maintenance or IT. But I'll bring that back. So I would suggest leaving the reserve at a healthy amount, just because as a town we have the flexibility to only meet twice per year, and it's really convenient to be able to have the finance committee, in case of emergency, be able to allocate funds. Legal services, level funded, we're using the majority of that this year. We're trying to keep union negotiations in-house and use counsel to a minimum. We have held back on using counsel for departments and boards and committees a little bit, since there's a bit of legal expertise in town hall. Unemployments, we've actually had a few people on unemployment this year, and just to be on the safe side, we recommend that at 100.
Mr. Chair. Mark, I have a quick question about monies that was allocated in a town meeting in the spring of 2018 for the legal budget, there's 10,000 still sitting in there that was allocated for Chapter 40B legal funds. I don't know if that's going to be
That's
spent.
news to me. So that's a special purpose appropriation, 10,000 for 40B.
Yeah, but if it's not needed, or can't we that get turned back?
Over, I think, right?
Yeah.
It was a bigger amount appropriated.
Probably.
Yeah, because
I
we're
wasn't
not-
around back then.
Currently, we're not subject to 40B because we're 10.02 affordable housing. That's down
Yeah.
from 10.04 a few months ago.
Yeah, this was again as of the fall when James sent us this report. So I don't know if it's still in there, but yeah, 10,000 in that account.
Sure. Do you have any like account number, or I can look into it. And
I can forward you this spreadsheet that he sent.
Take a picture of it.
Okay.
It has all the account numbers. Yeah, I'll send that to you.
Off the top of my head, I can't think of a use for it, so I will either think of a use for it or I'll put it on the one of the articles to rescind the appropriation.
Right, yeah.
And Mr. Chair, to Paula's point, yeah, I have the same printout, the same thing printed out. There's things like from 2014, 2010. If I don't know if you've had a chance to look through all this and see, there's quite a few numbers that are just kind of sitting there, haven't been used.
Yeah, I'm happy to look at it, and I don't know what you have in front of you, but I'm very interested.
This is the most excited I've seen you since in your time with us.
Money there.
You're just perked up.
Golden than their hills.
After budget season's over, I plan to comb through all the accounts and then mine for gold.
There you go.
Might find some nickel.
Are we on with the chair's permission onto warrant articles? Looks like this one is up again, this time with a Chapter 90 letter attached to the packet. And this year's appropriation is about $100,000 greater than last year's for a total of $860,247 and change.
Which number was that? Number 2.
Number 2. For those following along at home.
And this is a follow-up from last week?
Yeah.
Yeah. So do we have to
So
vote to
so if the
reconsider
board
it?
Inclined to reconsider it?
We didn't-
At your
Mr. Chair,
discretion.
Yes, Gavin.
I would like to make a motion to reconsider Article 2 regarding the acceptance of Chapter 90 funds.
Second that.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
This is just to talk about it, right? Talk about talking about it.
Yep.
So open it back up.
And my reason being just because I think we had some procedural snafus last time and we can vote more comfortably, hopefully this week.
So to be clear, I think a motion for reconsideration
Yes,
has to come from
yes.
somebody that
But that's
voted
my-
in the affirmative. So I'll make the motion because I did vote for it originally. I thought that was the.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know there were rules about it.
Is
No.
that- no, I don't.
I also voted for it though, so it's fine.
Yeah, I think if anything, it's the opposite.
the
Person who voted
prevailing-
against it is supposed to.
It's a prevailing,
But I don't think I don't
Yeah,
know that we've
but-
ever followed that.
yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure.
Okay.
So we have a motion, we have a second. I'm not hearing any further discussion. So I'll go to the roll call. Zach,
Yes.
Gavin,
Yes.
Tracy,
Yes.
Sandy,
Yes.
Bonnie,
Yes.
Paula,
Yes.
Paul.
Yes.
I too am a yes, so that's unanimous.
And I'll bring it back for a double header and make a motion to recommend Article 2 regarding the acceptance of Chapter 90 funds in the amount of $860,000. $247,000. I can't read. $860,247 and for 73 cents.
Second.
Thank you.
Have,
I understand why this is so hard when you guys do it. Jeez, it's like you can't read numbers all of a sudden.
have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. I'll go to the vote. Zach,
Yes.
Gavin,
Yes.
Tracy,
Yes.
Sandy,
Yes.
Bonnie,
Yes.
Paula,
Yes.
Paul.
Yes.
I too am a yes. That's unanimous.
Sweet.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Next up, we have prior year unpaid bills, and we actually have not received any. So I'm prepared to withdraw that, or you can make a motion to remove it, whatever the committee's pleasure.
Can we just take no action?
Um,
We vote to take no action?
we can vote to take no action, or we just,
And then we can just reconsider it later if something comes up before the meeting.
I mean, they all have had multiple deadlines, but I mean, you never know what you're going to find.
We do know
The
that?
number 4?
Yeah.
That's for number 4, yes.
Make a motion that we take no action on number 4?
Second?
I have a motion and a second for no action on Article 4.
Affirmative.
Any further discussion? Hearing none. Zach,
Yes.
Gavin,
Yes.
Tracy,
Yes.
Sandy,
Yes.
Bonnie,
Yes.
Paula,
Yes.
Paul.
Yes.
I too am a yes. That's unanimous.
No action, 8-0. And next up, acceptance of Chapter 59, Section 59A. So this law and ordinance would provide for the ability of the town to negotiate and waive past due taxes with the condition that there's environmental cleanup performed at the property. So this is very specific for brownfields property sites. And ordinarily, there's either a EPA or a state grant that makes this possible. They're prohibitively expensive, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. And so there's just a couple properties that this could be used for. And in my opinion, this would provide a tool in our toolbox to help the environment, to encourage development, and get this money back on the tax roll. Because, I mean, there are hundreds of thousands just sitting there, and nobody's paying taxes until the pollution's cleaned up, and until we have tools to do something like this, it's just going to continue sitting there.
How many properties do we think this encompasses?
So the one that comes to mind is the old Reed and Barton, which, I mean, I believe it's approximately $450,000. That's in unpaid real estate taxes. I understand that property is under new ownership, and the owner is speaking with the EPA, and so far discussions have been favorable. And if we have this tool, then we may be able to get something accomplished. I can't speak to other properties, but I can say that wouldn't be unchecked. Whatever negotiation we make with these property owners would have to be ratified by the select board. So there would be an additional check and balance.
Mr. Chair, oh, sorry.
Reed and Barton being the,
Elm Street.
40,
down the street there,
47 Elm, that's correct.
has an owner now.
Miss Ann Bremsley is the owner of record as of a couple months ago.
Okay. Good to hear.
Bought a $450,000 tax debt for $1.
So, not to get off track here, the people who wanted to do all this stuff are no longer involved?
There's discussions involving those people, and the way I'm approaching it is believe it when I see it. As I understand, those discussions have been in process for a number of years, so if they're prepared to move forward, or if someone else is prepared to move forward, I mean, it would have to be the owner of record.
Right.
because the town's not taking that liability.
Right. Okay.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Mark, what would be a potential downside to not doing this? What would be to doing it? Yeah. No. Yeah, to doing it. What would be a downside? Sorry.
To accepting this law, I mean, someone may argue that, they owe the taxes, they have to pay them, but I don't see that being a realistic downside because no one will pay it unless they can get it cleaned up. So
Okay.
I don't see a downside.
Okay. Cool.
Just the property taxes, if there's other bills like water department and all that, or is that everything, all inclusive?
Good question. The title says local taxes. Reading through the law real quick.
I don't know if the water bills were tax obligations.
I would say it would include those liens because after a year, the water and sewer liens typically become part of the real estate tax.
Sorry, one more question. Are there other towns that do this, that waive the taxes for brownfields?
North Attleboro recently accepted this a few months ago.
Zach?
So, Mark, help me understand the legalities of what transpired over there. This person buys a contaminated property for $1 that has a $500,000 tax lien for, just to round up here. And we have no legal recourse. Why wouldn't we just, I understand what you're trying to do, but putting that aside for a second, what is our recourse of somebody, I know if I bought a property and had all these problems, you wouldn't come after me immediately?
I mean, as far as I know, we're not in the environmental enforcement business.
No, you're in the tax collection business though. So you have a person that is an owner of this property that owes you $500,000. What are you gonna do about it? Shy of what you're trying to do here.
I mean, our option is to take the property and tax title and own it, but I'm hesitant to do that. We'd have to file in land court, go through the process, a year later, all the notices, and then we would take the property. But here, we
That's
don't
the
want to
only
take the
recourse.
property.
No, I understand that, but that's the only recourse. You couldn't go after this person personally. See, it doesn't appear to be in a trust or an LLC or something. You couldn't go after this person's assets personally for the tax lien. I'm not a lawyer here. I'm just asking.
I mean, anyone can sue anyone for anything, but are they going to win? No, I don't think that's a winnable case.
I think it was actually different.
Even if this person voluntarily took this property over.
Well, I
Again,
haven't seen the deed. I'm guessing this person is pretty savvy and put the deed in the name of a trust or an LLC. So
For us to even get the money to clean up the part of the building that was a severe hazard and stuff, I think was problematic, because we don't own it. The people that own it have abandoned it, so it was an issue even back then. So this gets it potentially back on the tax rolls, producing money in a safe site going forward. So I don't see any downside to passing this.
Well, I'll play devil's advocate and join Zach that this individual knowingly just entered into a $1 contract, but a contract nonetheless, to purchase the property knowing that it was contaminated. So then why is there no ability to go after them?
well, this person's not the bad actor. The bad actor is the people that skip town.
I get that, but you knowingly entered into something knowing that it was contaminated. So you knew that you potentially are on the hook to clean it up. So
I mean, it's a risk. Sure.
Well, I'm not even thinking of it as a risk. I'm thinking of it as that's the greatest deal in town. To pay $1 and just sit back and go, watch them squirm and vote this in, and then I'm scot-free now.
To spend $1 million cleaning the site.
So there is another option, actually. It's rarely used. We used it one time with an abandoned mill in another city where I was, where we took the $1 million tax title and auctioned it off. So the town didn't become the owner. We had a public auction and sold the title to someone else. So that's an option. If you have someone interested in the property, and I would suggest, I hope this owner would be willing to work with us and has suggested that if we accept this, then it might make a difference. I mean, there's really no downside. If we accept this, don't make a deal, then either she does something anyway, or I suppose we could go down the whole of taking it and auctioning it to someone else and give them a chance. It would be huge if we can get a site cleaned up and put back on the tax rolls.
I guess my only concern is that you vote something like this in, and then the thought process is, why are we going to fight it? We have this, mechanism. Just let it go this way. So,
Mr. Chair?
yes.
But isn't the alternative that, this person bought this for $1, but they also are in talks with the EPA. It's going to cost them, this person, money. I'm assuming they're going to work with the EPA to try to get as many grants and as many ways to supplement whatever it's going to cost, but it's not going to cost $0 to remediate this land to this person that owns it. So rather than paying $450, that what they're trying to do, it sounds like, is be abated the $450,000 so that they can spend the money or a portion. I was not entering into any contracts there. And then spend their money in accordance with whatever the EPA is saying is required, and getting lots of grants with the state and maybe federally, or however that works. I'm not an attorney either. But to then use money to clean it up so that it is now clean, which is a benefit to the town, and is saleable or developable for the person that owns it. So it ends up being a win-win in the end, in theory. It's not without risk, but in theory, that's where the money is going to be spent, and this person is, in essence, agreeing to do that because they've assumed the property. They wouldn't want to just own it for $1 and sit there with it. They want to develop it.
Sure.
They just don't want to pay the back taxes.
It's going to cost I'm not an environmental expert, but at least $1 million.
So they're looking to make that back once they've done that.
I believe it's mostly above ground, but it's all asbestos, that whole remaining building that's there, I believe is.
Mr. Chair?
Was that Zach?
Yeah, so is the abatement contingent that the property is cleaned up? Because, the last thing you'd want is, I'm gonna give you 450,000 or whatever that number is, and then, we found that it's gonna cost 2 million, we're not doing anything with it.
Yes, that's right. That would be part of the deal.
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Gavin?
I looked up on our GIS website, which is not binding. The warning tells you all the time, but usually pretty accurate. And it is owned by a corporation. So as far as going after them, I'm sure they would just declare bankruptcy, and that would be that, and the thing would continue to sit there. So as far as 47 Elm goes, that person is not personally liable. It doesn't look like. I mean, obviously I haven't read their articles of incorporation or whatever. I'm not a lawyer, but it's not that person's name that owns it. So So I think I'm of the opinion that, I mean, when I look at the outcome that I want for that property, it's for it to be cleaned up and not be an eyesore, right? We're not making anything on it now. It's been there for 15, 20 years like this, right? So I don't know. I feel like the time for anybody to bid on it, they would have come in here and tried to get involved in the meantime. So. I do share the kind of sucks feeling. Excuse me. Sorry.
I'm not sure.
The negative feeling about
Put a
it.
dollar in the swear.
I'm not sure I have the negative feeling. I have the, gee, we've been down this road before feeling.
Mr. Chair, it does say in the required agreement terms, 164.5, that conditions related to environmental cleanup, including compliance with Massachusetts Department of Environmental Protection requirements. So it's making, as to Zach's question, it's making the environmental cleanup part of the agreement to abate the taxes. So that there is that win-win. Something is finally happening with a property that has been an eyesore for 20 years. Otherwise, they don't get an abatement on the taxes.
It is sitting on an active river that's continually leaching
Yeah.
asbestos and other chemicals into the environment, so.
Is there a time frame for that, though? How much time do we give them before we?
Yeah.
Let them, as long as they're continually making good faith efforts and progress, I wouldn't pull the rug out from under them if they're moving forward.
Mr. Chair.
Hold on a sec.
Oh, someone come up. Oh.
Peter was coming up.
How do you define meaningful progress?
So the agreement would probably have a specified time where they would need to remediate it. These are done in phases, so you do the phase 1 within 3 months, the phase 2 the next 6 months, and then the phase 3 probably 6 months to a year. And that's the phase 3. That's where you take out the heavily contaminated soil to whatever depth the professionals, advise. And if at any point they lose state or federal funding, then that would, or if they stop construction, and we wouldn't sign off the lien until the work is complete. So
Would negate the agreement if they don't meet the requirements.
Devil's in the details.
Yeah, it's says the banker.
Says the banker. Any other discussion?
Mr. Chair, make a motion, we accept Article 20, the acceptance of GL, Chapter 59, Section 59A, abatement for continued environmental cleanup as presented.
Second.
if I may, Mr. Chair?
Yep.
And this was amended on the town meeting article list. So I would, if the maker of the motion would add and adopt bylaw chapter 164 brownfields tax abatement agreements to that motion, because that's required under this law.
So moved.
Second.
So I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Zach,
Yes.
Gavin,
Yes.
Tracy,
Yes.
Sandy,
Yes.
Bonnie,
Yes.
Paula,
Yes.
Paul.
Yes.
I too am a reluctant yes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
And last but not least is a red line. And hopefully this is, you have this in your packet. This is amending the sewer connection bylaw, section 163-8, to remove the mandatory 5-year tie-in, which I've heard ever since I've been involved in development conversations and construction conversations. This seems to be the common denominator. That's preventing some people from accepting and letting development go forward. Smart development that will improve the town. So essentially all we did was we took a red line to the 5-year requirement. And instead of requiring people to tie in, make it convenient for them when their septic fails or when ownership transfers. So which would be more cost advantageous to them anyways. Then, I mean, I recently installed a new septic. It's like $40,000. Wouldn't be that to tie in.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
has this been discussed with the water sewer department, and what are their thoughts?
They're supportive because the fees coming in will eventually come in, and you have to build it for more fees to come in. Eventually, they will be connected to the system, and the enterprise fund is actually extraordinarily strong right now, both water and sewer. Sewer a little stronger than water, but they're in support.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I have a follow-up to that. Has the Water Sewer Commission voted on it or discussed it at all?
Not to my knowledge.
How they typically vote on things like this?
They have in the past. Recently, with the advent of the DPW director, the Water and Sewer Commission is entirely advisory.
Mr. Chairman?
Zach?
So here's the problem with this article. 2 years ago, maybe it was more than 2 years ago, 2 or 3 town meetings ago, there was a gentleman that had a warrant article, if you folks remember, to change the tie-in requirement from 5 years to 7 years. And at that time, the Water Sewer Commission, the Water Department, the Sewer Department was adamantly opposed to this because of the financial situation it would cause. So let's just call it what this is. If you were to run sewer down my street and not require anybody to tie in, then the rest of the sewer customers are paying that tab until I tie in. So if I decide not to tie in for 20, 30 years, 40 years, 50 years, then the people that are already on sewer are footing that bill because the town will be borrowing that money under the enterprise account and those payments will be coming under the enterprise account. So I don't know, I don't know if this is Mark's idea or the select board or who came up with it, but I find it hard to believe that in 2 or 3 years' time, the Water Sewer Commission, the Water Department, the Sewer Department had an epiphany. Wow, and all of a sudden went from adamantly opposing a 2-year extension to unlimited. So for that reason, I'm a no.
I kind of remember, as Zach just indicated, that, yeah, it was a very, sky is falling if you went 2 extra years, let alone this. And I'm not opposed to this. I've always been advocating for it, but I don't know how the finances all of a sudden got so much better.
Sneak preview of water and sewer budget.
Oh, boy.
We haven't been counting 2 months a year of water revenue and sewer revenue in the budget. And our retained earnings in water and sewer respectively have climbed millions of dollars, and the rates have not increased in recent years.
What?
So
We can afford this. And to Zach's point, if yes, if there's a mile sewer extension, maybe Joe, resident over on wherever Mr. Tillis lives, would pay maybe, $4 extra a year for the next 20 years, $80. But the new development that's going to create would save hundreds in Mr. Tillis's pocket.
So, Mr. Chair, I think that is part of what drove this, is the fact that that was the big deal breaker on Elm Street, regarding everyone
Yep.
being forced to tie in and stuff. So, and again, I know I personally felt like, yeah, if you got a functioning system or one you just put in, like 2 years ago, and it's going to be good for 20 years, you shouldn't be forced to tie in. So I'm an advocate that this is the right way to go with this. It is upon failure of the system or transfer of ownership, and it's going to feel at some point not, and it's a wet town.
The DPW director will explain more.
How?
10 fingers.
Yeah. They couldn't go to the toes? How do you miss 2 months? How many years?
It's a
was
good
this?
problem. It's a good problem to have.
Oh, it's an excellent problem. But how many years did this?
But nobody picked it
We'll
up.
have to do some
Money
forensic
suddenly in an account,
accounting.
basically.
How many years? You know.
Is that when it suddenly changed, Mark?
Was it a select board discussion, Peter? Is that why you did? Thank you, Peter.
Rain Man.
I can't speak to how long it's been going on.
Okay.
Well, when they get here, that is a question we will have. Maybe we're not going to have this discussion
some money there,
tonight.
not
That's fine. They're not here to discuss
Right,
it.
right.
But we will want to know that.
It's there. I mean, at the end of the year, it goes into retained earnings. It's not disappearing anywhere. It just wasn't accounted for in the revenues.
Are there any more accounts like
Thanks for
this?
the feeling that we can't
Just Edith Reed.
use all this money. in our-
Excellent question. And that's why
Yeah.
earlier in the meeting, I was advocaking for switching up the auditor.
Well, I asked that,
crazy,
but okay. Because
Oh.
What's the water sewer?
don't auditors, aren't they supposed to manually check what we're doing? Mm-hmm. Okay. Anyway,
I think.
Quick question. Oh.
Oh, go ahead, Paul.
No, Gavin, you go.
I think. Let me collect my thoughts, please.
I'll go then. My question's pretty simple, I guess, sort of. Mr. Chair, I see Kevin's here. So I see you guys voted on this last week. One person voted against. Can you speak to?
Lucky you, Kevin.
See, now Zach knows I'm here. Watch out. Because he was at the meeting. Denise voted against it because she was concerned that the additional cost would be bared by everybody else who is already tied into these. So we didn't know this information, though. Yeah. So she was afraid that, to Zach's point, that additional cost would be reallocated to the rest of the population. So.
Thank you.
Yep.
Gavin?
I think I was just going to say I generally understand the hesitation to have, a few bucks reallocated. But I do think, and I can understand the confusion with sort of like, and I emailed the water department a year or two ago when we were talking about Elm Street and was like, why do we have these tie-in requirements? And I heard the same thing, it's for financial protection reasons. So I understand all that, but I do think when we get a new DPW director, new leadership, we've got a new town manager, we've got maybe a little bit of a different holistic vision on the situation, which includes both the water budget, sewer fees, water fees, and the fact that we want to get this property developed. And when you look at all of that together in that big picture, I think it ultimately ends up being a very small price to pay for, if there even is a price to pay. I mean, like Mark said, it's probably a few bucks for the town to progress in a way that it really needs to, unlocking some of these developments I think that will be huge, and ultimately we'll all be richer for it. I mean, that's kind of why we have a town, is to work together and kind of pool our resources. And this sort of thing, I think, flows right from that. So I don't know. I'm in favor of this. I think this was one of like probably the 3 hurdles for the Elm Street project. It was betterments, tie-in fees. And I had another one when I was thinking about it earlier. I can't remember right now, but this is one of those pins knocked right down. The taxes was the other one, and we knocked down that pin. Betterments remain, and Mark has talked about aggressively negotiating with developers and stuff. So maybe that one goes away, and Elm Street or projects like it get developed for no cost to the residents. I mean, that would be huge. But 2 out of 3 is pretty good. So,
Mr. Chair?
Sandy?
I just want to clarify though that there's a minority of the town that pays sewer bills, right? So I understand the initial concern before we heard about the extra money, because we don't want that to fall upon a small percentage of the population. I think it just needs to be really clear from the DPW director and whoever else when presenting this article at town meeting that their rates are not going to go up. You have to, if that's the only hesitation I would think anybody would have, is being concerned about that, because again, it is such a small percentage of our population.
I don't think they can present it and say the rates won't go up.
Well, but I think Mark's,
they need to
lots of extra
frame
money.
it in such a way that
Subsidize it, no.
Right. For the projects on the immediate horizon, we'd be getting state matching grants and using retained earnings and grants. So we wouldn't
Mr.
be.
Chair.
Zach?
So we got a few extra $1 million in sewer funds that we didn't account for, which I find it hard to believe, which a whole different subject. But the last sewer project we did, the cost overruns were just a few, just the cost overruns. That is a drop in the bucket. And now we're just gonna, we're gonna take
We're
all
on it.
restrictions off, so wherever you want, and you don't have to worry about it. I don't buy it 1 second. Second thing, to my friend Gavin's remarks over there, show me a town in the South Shore that has benefited from development. Mansfield, Easton, all the surrounding towns are in far worse financial situation than Norton is, and have been. They keep building and building, and they just keep looking for more overrides and overrides and overrides. Show me one, send that to me, because I want to study it, because I've yet to see one yet.
Kevin?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, thank you. I just wanted to share also that when the select board was discussing this article, there was a lot of discussion around, not in the residential areas expanding sewer right now, but more in the main corridors around town for industrial and commercial growth. So as far as the benefit of negotiating with contractors so that they bear the cost of the complete sewer line and not everybody who's on the line. So I don't know the details of, for example, Zero Mansfield Ave, but I believe that those 3 large apartment buildings, that developer is going to pay for the gravity line out to Route 123. So that's an example of nobody incurs the cost of the infrastructure improvements except for the developer, ideally, right? Whenever you can negotiate that. So that was a big discussion that we had. Thank you.
So you're verifying that those apartments are going in, huh?
I'm just watching it like you guys. And of course, Mr. Kimball discussed, he's got the most knowledge of sewer lines. There are a lot that are forced sewer lines and not gravity fed that nobody can tie into. And the reason why they were put in as forced lines is because of opposition from residents that didn't want to tie into it. Not only the tie-in fees, the betterment fees, and then the ongoing outflow costs on your monthly bill.
Right across the street's a big example of that.
That's right. Yep. Thank
Right.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And so we do have a plan to have the major arteries, 140, 123, built with the right diameter pipes, and not to be responsive to each developer trying to force main to their project, which doesn't help the town as a whole. This helps it be more cohesive and actually I don't want to use force, but persuade the developer to do what the town needs, which that's a great example where we were able to talk to him and then say, can you pay for a 1 mile gravity line for the residents at no cost to the residents? So I can't speak to whether that project will be complete or not, but that's, if it goes forward, that's the terms it goes forward under.
Mr. Chair,
Paul?
I make a motion that we approve Article 23 to amend the bylaw, the removal of the mandatory 5 to 7 year sewer tie-in.
Second?
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. I'll go for the vote. Zach?
You want to take a wild guess?
I gotta hear it.
Absolutely not.
Thank you.
Smoke and mirrors.
Gavin?
Yes.
Tracy?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Bonnie?
Yes.
Paula?
Yes.
Paul?
Yes.
I too am a yes. 7-1.
7-1. But that's all the fun we had scheduled for this evening.
That was a lot of fun, too. I like
I,
finding.
for one, can take no more fun.
How can you beat finding money?
I don't know.
That's really generous.
Mr. Chair, question regarding the
minutes?
previous minutes. How do we vote on minutes that are like a year or two old? Legally even. I thought there was a requirement in Massachusetts that there was a certain time frame that they had to be accepted and presented. And
So if you weren't at the meeting, you are allowed to vote on the minutes as long as they agree with what your recollection. I mean, if you saw it on the video later, there's nothing that prohibits us from voting on minutes if we weren't at the meeting.
Mr. Chair? Mark, do you want to just discuss real quick the revenue and expenditure sheet you gave us?
Do I have to?
I mean-
Yeah, sure. So I just want to say this is very preliminary. It's a draft. It's a working document. We're still ahead of schedule. There's a lot of moving parts. There's anticipated revenues. I mean, the Prop 2.5 plus debt exclusion. Local aid is essentially, I'll call that flat, 18.4 to 18.5. Everything else is going up with inflation, but state aid is staying below inflation. We have our typical funding sources. We're trying to wean off of free cash. It's an uphill battle these days and nights. I usually up late trying to figure out which corners of the budget we can tidy up to try to make this all come together and keep level service for our employees and the typical assessments. I don't believe we have them all in yet, but we do have Southeastern Regional, which went up about 100,000, and that's directly tied to enrollment. So we must have a dozen more students attending there. Interesting about the cherry sheet, and that's what the state aid sheet is they give us. The front of it gives us grants and money, including Chapter 70 for the schools and other funds, and the back of it assesses you. So they give you 18 million and they take away 4 million. Fixed and shared, that's an increase largely due to health insurance and increased cost of energy. And as you can see, we have a little bit left to balance before the end, but by the first week in April, I will come before the committee with a balanced budget.
Thanks.
charter school tuition. I've always asked how this gets, or I've always asked for how this gets assessed. So
Charter school tuition?
yeah, so it's going down like 300,000 ish. Is it kind of based on just like the regional school, you know, the number of people out of Norton who go to the charter school? Or how does that money?
I went to the cherry sheet on the state website, and that was the dollar that was in the block from the state. So I'm sure there is a formula, and it's probably directly related to number of students from Norton attending charter schools. But I couldn't speak authoritatively to that. But that's just what, and these are numbers from the governor's bill. Sometimes the House or Senate could change, but I don't see them changing that particular one. I mean, it might be one of those formulas. I mean, the state has all sorts of formulas, and some of them make more sense than others. This might be one of them that doesn't. It might not even be related to enrollment, but I can look into that and bring it back.
Screen and mirrors.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Any questions? Okay. So did we get a thing of minutes?
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I recommend we wait till the next meeting so we have a chance to look at them at least.
What?
And we just got them tonight.
No, I think you got
Well, you got them in your email like a week or two ago.
It was last week or the week before. Can't remember.
First time we got them in front of us, so.
Yes.
It's up
We
to
didn't
the
have
committee.
hard
Up to the
copies last
committee.
It's only 8:35.
Marty. Do we have to vote on each meeting minutes separately, or can we just read off the dates and then vote it, do one vote?
I think we could read the dates and vote as presented.
That's true.
Well,
We might have to do it separate, yeah.
Paul, you really want to wait?
We did last
I mean,
week.
we could just read through all of them.
I just, Mr. Chair, I'm thinking about the Chapter 90 discussion and how I kind of wish we hadn't voted on that. Even though it was, I didn't even necessarily agree with the issue, but if somebody's uncomfortable voting it, it makes no difference. I was thinking after that experience, we should err towards just not voting. So I don't know if Paul feels strongly he doesn't want to vote on it based on that rule, even though I also would be fine going forward today. I kind of have to. I didn't speak up last time, so I'm speaking up now. I guess that maybe we should just wait if one of us wants to wait. We'll always be here next week.
No, I'm all right. But I
You're all
appreciate
right?
that.
Okay.
Yeah,
I mean, you could abstain if completely up to you.
Yep.
so we're looking at both the 2026 minutes and the 2024 minutes?
We can.
Okay. Yeah, I'm kind of with Paul when it comes to 2024.
Yeah, I don't remember anything. Oh, Kevin's leaving.
I forget who it was that usually always found the typos. It was always typos. Was that you?
That's me, and I already read through these, and I can give them to Christy with typo corrections.
I can have any of them fixed, but I can only take credit for the minutes that are the meetings that I've attended. But
Oh, gotcha.
happy to correct anything that you point out.
Yes, I wasn't implying they were yours. I'm just happy to hand you this with just the type. It's just typos that I noticed, and I'm happy to read them off too. Because Paul, if you're not, just so we can vote on them individually. In the case that for any reason there's any different votes among the different minutes, that would be the only reason to vote them separately. What's your pleasure, Mr. Chair?
I would just go through each one. So we can start with July 7th of 2024.
Is the committee ready to make a motion or need any discussion? I guess Bill could have asked that, but I was about to make a motion and didn't want to interrupt anyone. Okay. Mr. Chair,
Bonnie?
I make a motion that we accept the minutes from July 7th, 2024 as presented. Printed, I guess we should say.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Motion from Bonnie, second from Paula. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Zach?
Abstain.
Gavin?
Abstain.
And we won't have a quorum.
Tracy?
Yes.
Sandy?
Yes.
Bonnie?
Yes.
Paula?
Yes.
Paul?
Abstain.
I'm a yes.
So that's 5. We don't have enough.
3. Well, 503.
Yeah. So we can't vote them tonight if
Needs
What's that?
6
it has to be 6.
quorum.
So
No,
We
we have a
would-
quorum voting.
Yeah.
The majority voted yes.
Minus 3 of us.
Okay,
but yeah.
got
We
you.
have 8, we
Great.
have 8 here, yes.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah,
I
I'm
thought we
sorry,
had to
Bill.
have a quorum in favor. That's
Wait,
true.
Chairman, did that pass?
If 3 abstain, they're taking out a quorum. Isn't that how that works?
No,
No?
it's the quorum of the whole meeting.
Oh, okay.
I was
All
wrong.
right,
I was
cool.
mistaken. Okay.
Because your vote gets recorded as an abstention. So
Okay,
it's
great.
a-
You got it, Paul Schleicher, Senior. Thank you.
All
I
right.
pay you the big bucks to be on this committee.
Okay, September 9th.
Feels like eons ago.
The only thing I noticed, Mr. Chair,
Yep.
is on the last page, page 4, I should say, last page with print, is that it says second by, and there's no one's name listed. It's just an underline. So I don't know if there's any way to see the meeting or something to find out who made that second, but that's the only thing that's missing information.
Say that again?
Under where it says minutes on page 4 of this one,
Okay.
it says motion made by Paul Schleicher to approve the 424 minutes, ironically, second by blank.
Ah, okay.
So if we can find out who that is, that's more than a typo.
And then if we can
Yeah, we could
spell check second at the end there?
we can bring that one back if that's an issue.
Yep.
I
didn't see
don't know
that.
if it
Got it.
matters. You know,
So funny, my name's spelled right, but not second.
I mean, we accepted as or approved as amended. I don't know if we,
Right.
do we need to actually know who it was?
We can't amend it right this minute because we don't know who it is.
Right.
I mean,
Oh,
we
there's
could
also
call it a
abstain.
scrivener's error, and
Did you get that order? Okay.
Yeah.
You know,
It's in every single one.
Okay.
I would just
could always reconsider it if you don't like it when it's published on the website.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So I get a
We're
question.
supposed
Who
to
was-
approve them in the state that they're going to enter the website, other than minor typos.
Completely up to the committee.
Yeah, he was.
He was.
Oh, wait.
He was.
in-
No, he's not here. Wait a minute.
He
Hold
was
on.
virtual.
I don't
The
think so.
September
Oh,
9th
he-
meeting?
24? No, he's a
That's
new,
when he
he's new
joined.
this year.
No, he started
Oh,
then.
he started the.
He started right at the end of my term being chair.
He did, okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, September 24, I believe. That summer. Whatever.
Yeah.
So, motion or no?
I don't feel comfortable making a motion
Yeah,
to
Gavin,
approve
you've
them.
been on since September 24?
Yeah, they started at the same
That would
time.
have been the beginning, yeah.
September 25?
Time is crazy, Paul.
When you retire,
Yeah,
it just
it
flies
makes
by,
those
doesn't it?
July 7th minutes extra bad that they were from before I was even on here, and I'm about to be up for reappointment in 3 months.
Whoa.
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 All right, if I
What
don't,
happens with that one?
if I don't have a motion, then we'll just move on.
That's September 9th.
September 16th.
Oh, yes, I wasn't chair. Mr. Chair,
Bonnie?
I'd like to make a motion to accept the meeting minutes from September 16th, 2024 as written.
Second.
I don't even see any
Motion.
typos.
Motion by Bonnie, second by Paula. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Zach?
Abstain.
If it helps you, you were at the meeting. Just saying.
I don't remember what I had for lunch. Forget about 2024.
I think it was tuna fish, Zach.
Yeah, but anyways, Gavin,
Yes.
Tracy,
Yes.
Sandy,
Yes.
Bonnie,
Yes.
Paula,
Yes.
Paul,
Abstained.
I am a yes. So, yeah. September 23rd.
Where's TR? What do you say?
6:02.
16th.
What's TR charter?
The regional charter? I don't know, honestly. All right, so we're on September 23rd, correct?
Yes.
I just see a couple typos, so that's it. Mr. Chair,
Bonnie,
I make a motion, we accept the meeting minutes for September 23rd, 2024 as printed.
Second.
motion by Bonnie, second by Paula. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Zach,
Abstain.
Gavin,
Yes.
Tracy,
Yes.
Sandy,
Yes.
Bonnie,
Yes.
Paula,
Yes.
Paul,
Abstained.
I'm a yes.
6:02.
September 30th?
Mr. Chair,
Bonnie,
I make a motion, we accept the meeting minutes for September 30th, 2024 as printed.
Second.
motion by Bonnie, second by Paula. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Zach,
Abstain.
Gavin,
Yes.
Tracy,
Yes.
Sandy,
Yes.
Bonnie,
Yes.
Paula,
Yes.
Paul,
Abstained.
I am a yes.
6:02.
October 10th?
First meeting, the Crane meeting room, I think.
Yeah, I made a correction that Bob Kimball lives on Pine Street, not Pint Street. But I did have a chuckle over it. Mr. Chair,
Bonnie,
I make a motion that we accept the meeting minutes for October 10th, 2024 as printed.
Second.
have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Mr. Chair, October 24th was a Thursday. It was a Thursday.
It's October 10th.
Right.
It was a joint meeting.
Joint meeting.
Was it joint meeting?
Select board and.
Says it
school
right at the
committee.
top.
Ah, yeah.
Did we not? My notes used to do those. Okay. We used to do those joint meetings.
Peter, what day of the week
Okay.
was October 10th, 2024?
It was a Thursday.
That's it. Peter knows.
We never.
Was it raining that day, Peter?
The joint meetings, Yeah, no, my notes said
So-
7. That's why I was
I
questioning.
already made a motion, correct?
I thought so.
Okay.
Zach,
I meant to. I just wanted to make sure I did.
Did we meet on the 7th too?
Oh, does Zach hear you? There he is.
Yeah.
Abstain.
Gavin,
Yes.
Tracy,
Yes.
Sandy,
Yes.
Oh shit, I was.
Bonnie,
Yes.
Paula,
Yes.
Paul.
Abstain?
I'm going to abstain because I wasn't there.
503.
503.
Yeah.
Catch up and watch the recording when you miss one.
Second. Paula.
Laugh. I've done that.
I don't. I'm not kidding.
Have you?
I found myself.
Maybe.
That's all those. Or did I miss one?
There's one more for March 2nd of this year.
Right. So now we go to March 2nd of 2026.
Says 16 too, I don't see the 16.
Should be a little more in our memory.
Mr. Chair,
Paul,
make a motion we accept the March 2nd minutes.
2026. Second.
2026, yep.
I had a motion. Who seconded?
Bonnie did.
Bonnie. Motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none. Zach,
Yes.
Gavin,
Yes.
Tracy,
Yes.
Sandy,
Yes.
Bonnie,
Yes.
Paula,
Yes.
Paul.
Yes.
I too am a yes. Oh, that's the one you guys couldn't hear me in.
What?
Huh?
Says the 16th. I don't see the- Do we have anything somewhere?
Oh, we don't.
I don't see
him in my packet
I didn't have it either, yeah. All right.
I had a printer error. I'll have to bring that next time. A lot of paper today.
See, we need to talk about computers.
Alrighty.
Paper you'd save?
I don't have those notes.
We're working on it.
We went over a bunch of articles. Why I'm
Um,
saying that is because those meeting minutes were not here.
What date?
Any further items anybody wants to discuss?
24.
Yeah, they're not in here.
That would have been a Monday. Holiday.
No, not October 7th. Yeah. Really? It's this, right?
What do you got? Anything good?
Is it usually the first or the second? Monday. That's Indigenous Peoples.
I'll take this as a no.
A lot of discussion going on down here, though.
We were just wondering if we've reviewed Monday, October 7th. Is that the date? If we had a meeting that day and if we've gone over those minutes yet. From 2024. Trying to be specific.
If it's not on this agendas list, I don't believe the assistant clerk has provided it yet, but I'll follow up. What was that date again?
October 7th, 2024.
10/7/24. I will double check on that.
How many days do we need to have between our last meeting and town meeting? Business days, or because it's possible we didn't have a meeting because it was too close to the.
You can have a meeting. A lot of towns have a finance committee meeting scheduled an hour before the town meeting.
We don't do that. Yeah, we don't. That's not a thing for us.
Great.
So we used to do that.
Mr. Chair.
I get it, Mark.
Okay.
I didn't mean to say it so quickly. No, I
I've
didn't.
been to one of those.
We yeah.
We did have the meeting
All right,
that
sorry.
night.
Under
Sarcasm, I was
extreme
like-
duress, we have occasionally done it, but in the last say
Okay.
5 years, we have not.
So actually, on that note, I was going to ask that first fall, I think we did one in the cafeteria, and I was wondering because I don't even know if Mike was there
Yes, yes.
or what, who even would have taken minutes for that. I don't remember that.
I submitted
You
minutes.
did? Okay, so somebody. Okay. I'm not sure if we voted on those ones. I can't
They're
remember.
actually on the website, October 7th, 2024.
Oh,
so
so we already
they've-
went over those?
Those
Voted on and posted.
those are already
Maybe.
voted and posted.
There you go.
It's weird, right?
So random.
Fish.
When posted and when it's
That was you.
Okay.
I don't know.
I was,
Maybe.
yeah, I was just questioning because we went to the 10th and I have notes from the 7th and that's why I said the dates, my dates were, I thought off, but they're not. I do have notes from the 7th. We went over a bunch of articles.
So unless people want to continue this meeting into hours, I'd entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, motion to adjourn.
Second.
Don't have to tell me twice, Bill.
Well, you got to vote on it. Have a motion and a second. Zach,
Yes.
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 Gavin, Tracy, Sandy, Bonnie,
Yes.
Paula,
Yes.
Paul.
Yes. I should have stayed.
Paul's already on 123. Sorry.
I am a yes. I should say no, but
It's unanimous.
there you go.